Good evening. Welcome to the Hingham Board of Selectmen meeting for Tuesday, September 5th, 2017. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes dated August 29th. The ones in our packet reflect revisions from 2 members of the board.
I'd like to move that we approve the minutes of August 29th, 2017 as amended.
Second?
Yeah.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Public comment on any matters not on the agenda? Okay. Bertucci's Restaurant, doing business as Bertucci's Brick Oven Restaurant. Request for a change in manager, sir. Is that you?
Yes.
Could you please come to the table and introduce yourself and let the board and the audience know what brings you here tonight, please?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Joe Enos, and I am the general manager of the Bertuccis on Derby Street in Hingham. And I am petitioning to take over, put my name on the liquor license.
And Joe, your background, please?
I have about 20, well, probably more years than I want to admit to, 25 years in the restaurant industry, most of which served beverages, alcoholic beverages. I'm ServSafe certified. I have experience dealing with alcohol.
And according to the paperwork, you're new to Bertucci's?
Well, I'm on a return. I actually worked
see.
for Bertucci's a few years ago for 5 years. I was the general manager of the Kenmore Square location in Boston,
Yep.
which was a high-volume alcohol.
They serve alcohol there.
They serve a lot of alcohol. Folks going to the ball games and whatnot, right?
I don't have any first-hand knowledge of that, but
You've heard?
I've heard.
Yeah, that's a little different bar for Bertucci's. Our bar is much quieter and smaller capacity, and we don't have the game time rush that Kenmore Square has.
But you do have the outside seating?
We have a patio, yep, an 8-table patio, and there are restrictions there that our patrons must be in a seat. They can't be walking around with any drinks.
And the Hingham Restaurant does a good volume of business.
That's
Yeah, it's
it's
good.
top 5 in our company.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I
It's a
remember
great
hearing that
business.
not long after we moved to Hingham.
Yeah.
Tom, all the paperwork's in order?
It is.
Okay. Karen
Safe
or
serve
Paul,
certification?
any questions?
I have no questions.
I'm good.
Would someone like to make a motion?
Sure. Move that we approve the request of Bertucci's Restaurant Corp. DBA Bertucci's Brick Oven Ristorante for a change of manager to Joseph Enos, subject to the approval of the Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming in.
Welcome back to
Good luck.
Bertucci's and
Thanks,
welcome
back
to
to work,
Hingham.
right. Thanks, have a great evening.
Thank you very much.
You too. Next is Harbor Media and an HCAM update. I see Laura Burns. Welcome.
Good evening,
Laura?
Madam Chairman, members of the board, esteemed town administrators. I'm here today as president of the HCAM board to introduce you to our new executive director, Farzad Wafapour. We did an extensive search and we had resumes from all over, of every description. And Farzad lives in Newton, and what attracted us to him as a candidate for this position is that he has done everything in media. He's done everything from run his own independent film and video outfit. He's worked in apps. He's done a lot of work in training, which is valuable in any organization. And he has a master's degree in media arts, and he is finishing his MBA at Babson.
Wow.
Terrific.
And the reason his wide background is so attractive to us is because we don't know, as you know from our last update, what Harbor Media is going to become. And we're looking for somebody to help us develop that vision, and we think we found the right person for that. And one of his first jobs is going to be to roll out our new brand identity as Harbor Media. But I'll just give Farzad a chance to say a couple words.
Thank you. It's really exciting to be here. I started on July 24th, and there's a lot that I'm learning about Hingham and the culture here. It's very exciting. Our mission is really to empower and inspire the communities with creative work through media. So we're working hard really to get to that vision. Our doors are open. Please feel free to stop by, have a chat, look at our space, and contact me or any one of our team members if we can be of any help.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
You said it last time, I just think this is a critical juncture for Harbor Media, and I just think someone with your broad base of talent is just what the doctor ordered to get us off on the right path for the future of Harbor Media and Hingham.
And I would add, and you've probably seen this in the time since you've been here, you have a great team. You have great people who work for Harbor Media, a great board, the Cable Advisory Committee. It's really a great team, and it's always so striking to me. We have the opportunity to attend a lot of different events around town, and almost everyone that you go to now, there's someone there from Harbor Media who is recording it. Whether it's a teacher orientation or an event downtown, it really is terrific, and we so appreciate all the great work, and we welcome you to Hingham.
Thank you.
Terrific. Any questions, comments from the audience? Okay.
We're excited.
Thank you.
All
We
right,
are
thanks for
too.
coming in. Good to see you both.
We'll see you
for coming
soon. Okay, next on the agenda is appointments, and Fire Chief Bob Olson is in the audience. Bob, could you come up to the table, please?
The comfortable one.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And Chief, before we talk about the letter you wrote, just on behalf of the board and so many grateful members of the community, we're so grateful for all your many contributions to the town, in particular in your role as chief, in leading the department, in building a really strong bench, and your contributions to the Fire Station Building Committee. You're going to be leaving an imprint on Hingham that's going to last for a very, very long time, and it's just been such a pleasure to work with you.
Well, thank you.
And you wrote us a letter, and I know, Ted, you've also written the board a letter, so perhaps if the chief and then Ted, if you could just give us the highlights of what's contained in these letters.
You know, I'd let the chief speak, because, you know, I started to write my letter, and I had the chief, first. And he's got a couple pages here. He probably could have gone on for 6 or 7 more for Steve. And everything I was going to say was almost going to be redundant on what he said. So I think we'll give the opportunity to the chief to express what we feel about the deputy.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that one of the goals that I had as fire chief was to kind of set up a strategic plan for the department. And one of the key elements of a strategic plan is to look at the leadership that you have in the department and develop paths to get and develop and see who the leaders in the department are and give them opportunities to expand their knowledge and their growth and experience. The idea being, when you look down the road from 5 years to 10 years to 15 years, you want to be able to set up a program that allows you to develop those people that are in the department, who are our most valuable employees. And for those that are interested in going up the ranks, you want to give them the opportunity, the educational experience to be able to do that. One of the things with Steve that's been particularly interesting for me is we started our work way back when Steve was the EMS coordinator, handling the EMS side of the Hingham Fire Department. Which can be a challenging thing, because not only are you dealing with the town as far as what resources it can bring, but also you're dealing with the hospital and the medical control issues. You're dealing with patients who may have complaints or situations. You're also dealing with Department of OEMS and the Department of Public Health. I've said for a long time, fire department has to answer to 2 masters. One's the town, and the other, because we run the ambulance, is Department of Public Health. Steve, as the EMS coordinator, working with me, I first saw in him those leadership qualities that I think any leader of a fire department should have. There's a lot of variables on the EMS side that he had to handle and balance. In addition to that, Steve has always been someone that looks forward. You can see from the education that I mentioned listed in the letter that at no time has he ever stopped the educational process, which is something that is a little bit unusual in the fire service. Steve has continued that all the way up through his master's degree in public administration. He's currently enrolled in the Executive Fire Officer Program at the National Fire Academy in Emmitsburg, Maryland. He's completed his first year there of a 4-year program. Interesting to note, there's only two other people, fire chiefs in Plymouth County, that have completed that EFO program. I'd also like to call your attention to the fact that the state of Massachusetts started looking at fire chiefs' jobs and what the qualifications would be to make declare or accredit someone for being a fire chief. And Steve has gone through that process with the Mass Fire Commission, and he has now been accredited as qualified to be fire chief. He is actually the first one on the Hingham Fire Department to ever have achieved that accreditation. So there's a lot of good things, and in my conversations with Steve over the last 2 years, he's been very, very helpful to me. We find, maybe through our work when he was EMS coordinator and I was deputy, that our vision for the fire department matches very closely. So, without repeating everything that is in the letter, I can definitely tell you that he has all the knowledge that a fire chief should have, and he's still continuing that. He has the experience. He is an instructor at the Mass Fire Academy, and more important, he understands the strategic vision necessary to be a fire chief. And for those reasons, he's been a very good second for me, and I'm very pleased to be able to tell you that I believe that he is the most qualified person to make the next step and be fire chief.
Thank you very much. Ted, anything to add?
You know, two things. One, I think all of you know who Deputy Murphy is, because our management style here isn't just the chief, and that's all. You've seen him working. You've seen the things he can do in a variety of activities. But one thing you might not know about is, I'm hoping I'm going to get it right, is Steve exhibited these leadership skills much earlier than most of us. He was awarded a certificate, I believe, from the town of Milton, because I think when he was 16 years old, working at a bowling alley and a men's league, most of them were my age probably, and which we don't talk about. And a man fell down with a heart attack, and everybody stood around not knowing what to do. And Steve Murphy stepped in and provided him with CPR before, and the fire chief, I think, said he saved that man's life. And there was a lot of people like me who should have figured out what to do, couldn't do it. They were all standing there watching. This 16-year-old boy did that, and I thought that was a remarkable story. You know, at such an early age. It's not when you look at Steve and you get to know him a little bit, it's not that remarkable. You expect that from him. So I think you'll be very well pleased with Deputy Murphy.
Thank you. Paul or Karen, anything to add?
If I may. I wasn't here last week when Mary and Karen spoke to your retirement, but as you know, I worked in a gas station up in the center, and the fire department lore is long. I knew Albert Kimball and all the chiefs that came after him. I have to say, sir, it has been an honor and a privilege to work with you as a fire chief, and I greatly appreciate your service to the community, both as a chief and as a firefighter, as well as a deputy to former Chief Duff. I think you've served from the heart as well as the head. With respect to Mr. Murphy or Deputy Murphy, I think that the appointment of him as the future chief is an appropriate and very common sense step to take. I think he represents the professionalism of the department as it emerges going forward and continues. I think you've done a great job raising him up, and I really appreciate all that you have done. My comments are primarily devoted to you, though. So thank you so much for all your work.
Well, thank you.
Well said, Paul. You know, I agree with Paul's assessment of Chief Murphy. I've had the Deputy Chief Murphy, I've had the opportunity to work with him as well as with you over the last several years on budgeting and the TA Special Act, and now as the liaison to the fire department. I've had an opportunity to see him work and help to educate me on the mission of the fire department. And again, to Paul's point, in providing us the opportunity to make an appointment of someone of Deputy Chief Murphy's character and professionalism and experience, that we owe to you. And so I think it's your ongoing legacy at the fire department that we have this opportunity, and I appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
I don't know that there's anything more to be said. I think Deputy Chief Murphy is ready to become the fire chief. And again, due in large part to a lot of the mentoring and the leadership and and bringing him in on partnership on issues like budgets and other things. So with that, I would accept a motion.
Sure, I'd like to do this if I could.
Please.
I'd move with pleasure to appoint Stephen Murphy as Fire Chief for the Hingham Fire Department, effective March 1st, 2018.
Second.
Any further discussion? Any questions or comments from the audience? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Chief.
Chief. Next on the agenda is we have another set of appointments, which are to appoint poll workers for the upcoming year. The board received a package from Eileen McCracken. Ted or Tom, did you have anything to add to this?
Not only that you can vote it as a list.
We don't have to read every name? Okay. In case someone wants to put a hold.
Well, if you wanted to, you could.
Experience right there. I don't think so.
Any questions?
Eileen's suggestions are good with me.
I'm good. Let's just do it.
Any questions, comments from the audience? Okay,
Always look forward to seeing the folks.
make a motion to appoint the poll workers as outlined in the memo from Eileen McCracken dated August 31st, 2017, for a term ending August 15th, 2018.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Just, can we just fix the typo
I did
on
that.
Eileen's letter?
I did that. Tom, you got that?
And Eileen's letter?
You know me and my, my edits.
Okay. Now, we have just some additional votes. The first one is an agreement with Spector Manufacturing, Inc. for a trailer that is part of the FY18 capital budget.
So maybe Ted or Tom could just speak to this briefly, because we've approved a bunch of these. I realize that because it's over $50,000, they have to come to us for approval to sign these contracts. The purchases or the stuff we're buying is coming off a state vendor list.
Or a bid,
Or a
either
bid.
way.
And then I guess the other thing for me is, since I wasn't part of the budget process last year, my understanding for these items is that they've been vetted through the usual
Correct.
budgeting process.
This is sort of the
and
last process. So capital outlay has approved, or somehow in the budget process it's been approved, and these are capital items, so capital outlay. And it's gone through advisory and the selectmen, ultimately town meeting, and now they're just executing on the transaction.
Okay.
Any other questions? Questions from the audience? Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
I would like to move that we sign an agreement with Spector Manufacturing, Inc. for a steel open-top moving floor C&D trailer in the amount of $82,373.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, and then next is an agreement with AJ Equipment Repair, Inc. for a roll-off trailer in the amount of $56,782.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, we have 4 one-day licenses.
And I see that, I note the chief has signed off on all of them. Right? Nope, you're good with all these? Okay. Want me to move?
Sure.
Okay. First, I'd like to move that we approve the issuance of a special one-day all-alcoholic beverages license to Paul Foti on behalf of Type 1 for the Renegade Run to be held at Wampatuck State Park on Sunday, October 22nd, 2017, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I move to approve the issuance of a special one-day wine and malt beverages license to Susan Bush on behalf of the Hingham Maritime Center for the 2017 Harbor Feast to be held at Barnes Wharf on Saturday, September 16th, 2017, from 5:30 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to move that we approve the issuance of a special one-day wine and malt beverages license to Kim Luque on behalf of the Silent Chef for Carrie John Walker fundraiser to be held at the Congregation Sharei Shalom on Saturday, November 18th, 2017, from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. I move to, that the board approve the issuance of a special one-day all-alcoholic beverages license to Jennifer Freedson on behalf of Chive Events at World's End 50th Anniversary Celebration to be held at World's End on Saturday, September 9th, 2017, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Okay, and then next, we have a request from the Farmers Market to use the Station Street parking lot. In years past, the board and the audience may recall that in September, there's a Touch a Truck fundraiser with the Hingham Nursery School. And the request here is to use the Station Street lot for this one session on Saturday, September 23rd, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And this has been seamless. There's also been notification at the market and on social media and in the Journal notifying people of the change in location for the week. And I think this is the third or fourth year in a row that it's gone on.
And do they have police detail down there or anything? Or they don't?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
We've never had any issues with it. It's going on, like I said, for 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Yep, and in this note, Mark says that the lot will be free of our presence no later than 3 p.m.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? Someone like to make a motion?
I'd like to move that we grant permission to the Hingham Farmers Market for the use of the Station Street parking lot on September 23rd, 2017. Do we need to add the hours in there, or it doesn't matter?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next on the agenda, town administrator reports. Ted or Tom, anything?
This week.
Okay. Selectmen reports. Paul or Karen?
All good, just welcome back to school, everybody.
I think I'm good.
Yep, this first day of school, while we're all, and our families, or if you're in a neighborhood and you're seeing your neighbors' kids going out and things, I would remind us all that the school department, under Dr. Gallo and the school committee's leadership, had the custodial responsibility for about 4,500 children today, getting everybody to school, on the buses, back home. Grateful for everybody's support. Chief, for the officers that were out there helping with traffic. It was an uneventful first day of school, and that's nice to see. Our board is going to be going into an executive session. We tentatively have a meeting scheduled for next Tuesday, September 12th. We are right now taking a look at the agenda to see whether there is a sufficient amount of business to hold a meeting. If not, our next scheduled meeting after that will be on Tuesday, September 26th. So at this point, the board will enter into executive session under Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct a strategy session in preparation for potential negotiations with non-union personnel, Assistant Town Administrator Thomas Mayo, regarding potential appointment as Interim Town Administrator. The board will not return to open session. Roll call vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everybody.
everybody.
Thank you.